Come on then, Doug. Let's see if Herman's up, and then we can tell him the good news. Come on, buddy. It is early. Oh yeah, he is up. Ah, good news, good news.
About the executions.
Is it done? Can I let them get on with the executions now?
Yes.
Now all we have to do is go and enjoy the show.
Okay. I'm assuming we go up to the where the gallows and what have you are, but when? Probably no point going right now because they're not going to be there right now. Doesn't say when either. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go and see Sir Hans. At least we've sorted out his necklace and letter. Ah, there you are.
Meal to go with the ale, please.
I thought you'd be in bed at this time of the morning.
The Lord be praised. What brings you to me?
I delivered the things as you asked.
I already know. My spies told me everything. She was wearing the necklace this morning as I asked in the letter.
So you'll go to the rendezvous with her?
Certainly not. I'm not going to pounce on her like a bull in rutting season. Her feelings must be allowed to mature gradually. Meanwhile, you'll get a potion for me.
I thought you didn't believe in witches' brews.
This is no witch's brew. It's an absolutely tried and tested elixir called Musk of Infinite Allure. There's a fellow in Sasau who sells it and he guarantees its success.
Yeah, right.
Musk of Infinite Allure? Sounds irresistible. All right, I'll try and get it for you.
I'm sure I can rely on you. Here's some coin for your cost. Take care.
Infinite allure. Yeah, like that's gonna work. Wouldn't be surprised if it's from the bloomin' charlatan. Right, so we need to go to Sasau then. Yeah, it is. It's from the charlatan. Oh, for crying out loud.
Shapes and sizes.
Yeah, I knew it would be you. Because, yeah, I mean, Hans did say he was in Sasau, but I know he moved over to Ledechko.
Well, well, who have we here?
Ah, the prodigal son returns. I knew you'd come back to me one day.
Let me guess, you saw it in a dream?
I knew you were going to say that.
But I had a divine revelation. That next time I won't be around to pull you out of the shit.
Oh, well, I am sorry. But these things are sent to try our fortitude in the face of adversity.
I'd like to try your fortitude. I've heard you know of some irresistibility potion or whatever it is.
Ah, naturally. Musk of Infinite Allure. An age-old recipe, maybe even older. Tested by Moses himself.
Moses?
How do you think he managed to get his people to follow him through the desert for 40 years? It's extremely potent.
Yeah, so it would seem. How much do you want for it?
Who do you take me for? The wisdom of the ancients isn't something that's bought and sold in the marketplace. Did Jesus charge for his miracles? But since you ask, how about this much?
Whoa! I wasn't even given anywhere near that amount.
What? That much? You're a crook.
As King Solomon said, honesty is for those who can afford it. If you like, I can mix the elixir for you in exchange for a small favor.
Oh, not again.
Now, is that any tone to use with your master? For shame.
Apologies, Master. I was carried away by my thirst for knowledge.
I understand your impatience, but the way to wisdom is narrow and arduous.
And leads out the window.
Go on then.
So what is it you want from me now?
Ah, my dear apprentice, everything's gone to the devil. I'm living from hand to mouth, sleeping on straw, and the local peasants won't buy from me. They say they don't trust me, as if I were some kind of Charlatan! Can you believe it? Does this look to you like the face of a swindler? I'm an honest trader in sacred goods, whose only concern is the welfare of troubled souls.
A regular Good Samaritan.
And any time now the slanderous gossip will spread here from Sasau. I should leave before things get worse. But I can't go anywhere until I've made a bit of coin. So what's needed is to give the locals a bit of encouragement, to open their hearts and purses.
I'm not going to go around beating people for you.
What do you take me for? I wouldn't hurt a fly. Violence is for the dull-witted. We must gently demonstrate to them the necessity of buying my remedies. For example, to ward off a revenant.
Revenant? What revenant?
The dead, returned from the grave. A corpse that the soul is unable to depart from, which wanders among the living, filled with rage at its wretched fate.
Yeah, I saw something like that once. But it was just some drunk going home from the tavern after losing all his money at dice.
Don't make light of such things. Now tell me, do you know how to deal with a revenant?
A wooden stake through the heart?
That's more a remedy for vampires and other bloodsuckers.
Okay.
You are my trained apprentice, but the ignorant villager is entirely at a loss how to deal with such dark forces. It is our sacred duty to prepare them for such threats.
And how do you propose to do that?
Well, they're all doubting Thomases. They need proof. We'll need a grave, an empty grave that we can use. There's one along the way to Sasau, but it's got one minor shortcoming.
What's that?
Well, it's not entirely empty.
Not entirely? What does that mean?
You have to dig it up first.
Fine.
Why this particular grave?
The locals don't like to talk about it, so it's surely got some sinister past behind it. And in places like that, revenants sprout up like mushrooms after rain.
Well, if that's how it is, we could open old wounds. That could easily set people against us. Again.
Then it would be best if no one could connect us to it, wouldn't it?
I'll need a spade then.
Yes, dig it up and remove the remains, leaving no trace.
And what am I to do with the remains?
Keep them. Human remains are always handy to have around.
Great. And how do we spread the word of this revenant?
There's a gossip in every village. Here, too, a woman who'll spread news quicker than a dozen messengers on the fastest steeds.
Where does this woman live?
The last house on the left, on the road to Sasau. She was the first person I met here, and by the time I reached the village green, I already had a mob looking suspiciously at me. The rumor-mongering fishwife.
And what am I to tell this gossip?
All you have to do is casually mention the empty grave, and before evening, I'll wager the whole village will know about it.
And that's all?
Not quite. You should ask her who was buried there. So we've got a story to work with.
So, dig up the grave, talk to the gossip.
And the remains. Don't forget to remove them. Otherwise, no one will believe in the revenant.
I might have known any task for a capon would turn into some insane escapade. Grave robbing. Jesus.
Well, this day is just getting more and more interesting, isn't it? Guess we better go and find this here grave. Ah, so this looks like the grave that we're looking for then. Right, so we need our spade. Dig this up. Have to dispose of the contents. Ooh. Got a bone to eat, dog? Just thinking. No. Right. Got all the bits and pieces out of the grave. Let me get rid of them. I'll tell you what, we'll find somewhere to dump these and then we'll chat with this gossip. Come on, Mutt. We need to start spreading rumours. I think it's this lady here.
God be with you, good wife. Has something happened here?
Heavens no. It's quiet here, unlike some other places.
And what about that empty grave?
What empty grave would that be now?
The one beyond the village, alongside the road to Sasau. Just by the river, on the Pine Headland.
How would you know it's empty? Unless it was dug up.
Oh, it's dug up all right. Freshly. And empty. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
Lord in heaven, what in the name of...
How come it's not in hallowed ground, anyway? Only unrepentant sinners are buried like that. Usually.
I don't like to say. It's an old wound that's best forgotten.
Whose grave is it?
Well, once a long time ago there was a young charcoal burner living here with his wife. There was always a lot of charcoal burners here, but this fellow worked alone. That's not an easy job for one man.
Well, no one wanted to work with him, or what?
Ah, he was a hard-headed fellow who always wanted to take care of his family himself.
Well, I can understand that. It's always better to work for yourself than break your back for someone else.
His wife was expecting, though no one knew it yet. And he wasn't doing well at all. Soon enough, they had nothing to eat. And so he took to thieving.
Well, thieving is wrong.
Aye, but when there's a child on the way and your wife hasn't the strength to get out of bed for the hunger, well, you ought to think differently.
And did he get caught?
Well, at first it was just a few eggs going missing from people's hen coops. But then it was anything that wasn't nailed down. And in the end, they caught him.
And I suppose he was harshly punished for it.
Even then, he didn't let on why he was doing it. They whipped the skin off his back and banished him from Leditchcott.
So justice was done then?
It wasn't enough for some folk. When the butcher found out he'd never get any compensation, he wanted them to chop off the charcoal burner's hands. If the bailiff hadn't talked sense into him, he'd have done it himself with his cleaver.
Well, he got off lightly enough then.
And in the end, he got what was coming to him, and more.
The butcher caught up with him?
No. It was the mills of God turning slowly but surely. His wife bled to death in childbirth, and the child died with her.
I'm sorry to hear that. But at least he knew they were gone to a better place.
True, lad.
Nothing could have been done to save them.
There was no one there. He had no one who would care for his wife. They say on that day, he parted ways with God forever. And he turned his back on the village too. I reckon he never forgave himself. Nor us, either.
The Lord moves in mysterious ways. But how did he end up?
Don't ask me that, lad. I beg you.
Come now, good wife. You can't leave the story unfinished.
I said no. Will you let it lie?
I'm curious. Too curious to know. I don't like unfinished things. Doesn't make sense. Come on, doggy. We're gonna go and speak to the charlatan.
Saints from Italy, altar candles from France, and pieces of cloth all the way from the Holy Land.
Yeah, total garbage.
God be with you.
I know who was buried in that grave. A young charcoal burner.
So begins the tragic tale of the young charcoal burner who became entangled with the devil himself.
Oh, don't start. What devil? I'm trying to tell you. Ugh. He was from Ledetchko. He was trying to eke out a living for himself and his wife, but he couldn't manage. When she fell pregnant, he took to stealing.
Pride drove him from the straight and narrow path, and soon he sold his soul to the devil to fill his stomach.
They caught him and punished him, but some of the people he'd robbed didn't think it was enough. Then when his wife died in childbirth, and the child too, he blamed everyone for it. Even God, apparently.
But when the time came to pay his debt to hell, the devil had no use for his soul, and took his wife and child instead. The charcoal burner cursed God, who struck him down in righteous vengeance. But the dead man's soul never left his body. He came back as a revenant to vent his rage at God and men and take vengeance on the living.
Jesus, did you listen to what I said at all?
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh, never mind. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, the question is, what would the revenant do to get revenge on the villagers? Well, apprentice?
Ah, well.
He cursed God. That's very serious.
What is it that most brings God to mind?
They don't have a church there. But everyone will have a rosary. I can't think of anything else.
That's it! If folks start losing their rosaries, they'll have sleepless nights over it.
You want me to steal rosaries? But that's...
Or just exchange them.
For what?
For nothing.
Great.
Hmm.
He was stealing food from people, right? So, supposing he started again.
We should steal from people? Disgraceful. Have you no shame?
Maybe just a few eggs from hen coops, like the gossip mentioned.
Well, that wouldn't be too serious a sin. Will they put it down to the revenant, though?
They would, if I put some charcoal there instead.
And their nourishment he turned into ash.
Man, this just gets weirder.
The gossip mentioned the butcher. It seems he was infuriated that the charcoal burner's punishment was too lenient.
And the revenant spoiled their meat with his malign touch.
How's that?
Spoiled meat is a classic example of a revenant's power.
I thought it was the work of bad butchers.
That too, sometimes.
So, I should switch the good meat for bad at the butcher's. What about the butcher woman?
What about her?
Her conscience was troubled on account of her man and she couldn't sleep. But I helped her, so she's found some peace.
So, no problem then.
What? I'm supposed to scare the wits out of her and start all over again?
All right, if you can find some other solution, you don't have to switch the meat. But I wouldn't worry about her. But make sure it's the same kind of meat. Not even a revenant will turn a cow into a chicken.
What about his wife and child? No doubt he'd want to avenge their death.
Well, how did they die?
In childbirth.
And when his love turned to rage, the water turned to blood. Nothing too original. But it's tried and tested. If you do it at the baths, everyone will hear of it.
How am I supposed to do that? It might be a bit suspicious if I'm seen walking around with a pail of blood.
No problem. There's a certain potion that will do the trick easily. So, switch eggs for charcoal, switch the meat, color the water in the baths, and switch the rosaries. That ought to do it. I hope so. Of course, if you come up with anything else, don't let me hold you back. Talking to people might give you ideas. Traders, the bailiff.
What if someone sees me in the act?
They mustn't. Otherwise, it'll end up like Sasau all over again. Don't draw attention to yourself, or they'll put two and two together.
Sure. I'll keep my head down. And how would I know if I've succeeded? I doubt it'll be announced on the market square.
I'll be the first to know. They'll come running to me for a remedy, like hens at feeding time. Off you go and raise hell.
But whatever he did, don't you think he deserves some peace?
Dear Henry, after all the poor wretch went through, I'd say he's beyond any peace.
Well, he certainly won't have any as long as I'm carrying his bones around with me.
Ah, but you know who those remains could help?
Help? Who? How?
Me, of course. And I'd pay you a nice price for a revenant's bones.
But there is no revenant.
Not yet. What do you say?
No, we're going too far here.
Maybe I should bury him somewhere else.
What are you saying? That would be such a waste. Anyway, if someone saw you, the whole game would be up.
Well, supposing I do it later, when the fuss has died down.
All right, if you must. But I don't know what you hope to get out of it.
At least the poor wretch will have peace at last.
Maybe. As long as you bury him in hallowed ground. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
Like in Ratai, maybe?
Well, that's probably the nearest. That gossip-mongering crone would know.
True, I could ask her.
If you must. But for heaven's sake, don't even hint to her what you're up to. Good luck, then.
Look, he says. Why do people always say good luck? I mean, we're doing horrible things here for...
Salt sprinkled with the bloody tears of St. James Madonna.
Good wife.
Yes, lad. What can I do for you?
You know, I can't stop thinking about what happened to that poor wretch.
Have you no consideration for a poor old woman? I told you I don't want to talk about it.
Come closer, my friends. Marvel.
It might relieve you to talk to someone.
Relieve me from what?
Well, guilt.
Guilt? Why should I feel guilty?
Well, clearly something weighs heavy on your soul, just like the other villagers. The older ones. And I'd say it's connected to that empty grave. Well, that wretch returns as a revenant, and no one does anything. It's not just fear, but more like everyone is expecting some punishment that was bound to come one day.
Oh, you might be right. Maybe it would give me some peace in my old age to finally tell the whole story. Several people from the village went to have it out with Lev, but he grabbed an axe and drove them off. He swore if anyone came near him, he'd burn their house down. Then he buried his wife and child in the meadows beyond Ledetchko. I saw him carving 3 statues there.
Lev, you say his name was? What kind of statues?
There's 3 roughly carved beams there, each with a human face, except the smallest, which has no face at all.
For the stillborn child, I suppose. What happened then?
Nothing. He went back to his work, but never spoke to the villagers again. He'd even go all the way to Rattay for food, rather than talk to anyone here.
So he died alone in the end?
Actually, it was the villagers. It was us that killed him.
What? Just on account of his stealing?
No. Not long after, fires started springing up in the village. And when the first house burned down, the folk were very angry.
And of course suspicion fell on Lev.
Everyone was dead certain it was him. They all remembered his words. Do you know how arsonists are punished, lad?
No, I don't.
You're drowned.
By burning on the pyre.
All right.
But no one wanted to waste time with the law. We just went to his house at night, smashed in the door and windows, and threw lighting torches inside. And that was the end of him. But the fires didn't stop.
So he was innocent?
He was.
Well, I won't condemn you for it. It's for God to judge, but...
Rare merchandise from all over the world.
May he forgive you for it.
Thanks, lad. I pray every day for forgiveness, and it's a weight off my shoulders to tell someone. Goodbye.
Well, that's odd. One of the Black Chronicles. Somebody was, they were drowned for being an arsonist. A bit of a chat with people.
Greetings. What do you need? God be with you.
You can't help me. Ooh, Fearless Felix. I don't remember Fearless Felix.
Holy in hell.
I don't think I will. It'll work here. Tell you what, see if we can find the bailiff, Doug. Maybe the bailiff will be able to tell us something. So we've got to steal. Well, yeah, we've got to steal people's eggs. Let's have a look. Where's the bailiff among this lot? There's a trader there. I don't think there is a bailiff here, now that I think about it. There must be somebody around. I'll tell you what. Let's go looking for coops instead. That should be easier. Funny feeling people aren't going to tell me much. Where are the chicken coops? I need to find chicken coops. The pigs over there. Do you see any chicken coops in your travels, Doug? That's a dovecot. Not going to help. Ah, there's one over there. Right, how many eggs do we need to steal? A lot? Right. We've found one. Oh, there's one there. Right, that's one of them. I'm sure there was a one over here. Oh, that's not a chicken coop. Oh, foobar. Why haven't you got a chicken coop? Surely you want to keep chickens. I can't believe I've resorted to this, having to steal chicken eggs from people. Is this what my life has become? Stealing chicken eggs? There's the butchers. I don't think the butcher might have some chickens. Oddly enough, no, they don't. Might be some over here. People will be wondering what on earth is that guy doing? He's running and jumping over like fences like a complete idiot. I'm more interested in chickens. As in, there must be more of them around. Hello. Oh. Well, guess we've got... Oh, hang on. There. There we go. I think there's one here. Doug, you're in the way, dude. Oh, get a rooster feather. Dog, I'm stuck. Dude, I'm stuck. Yep. Okay, we're back, we're back. I wonder if there's any chickens over there then. I mean... Oh, I've got to replace them. Oh, crap, we don't have any charcoal, Dog. Right. That was the plan, wasn't it? We're supposed to replace them. Where am I going to get well, there should be a charcoal burner around here somewhere. Possibly there's a camp down there. I know there's a charcoal burner. Ah, it's true, there's one right out there. There's some charcoal burners down here. Tell you what, Doug, we'll have a bit of a look around and see if we can find somebody who'll sell us some. Follow that up. Oh, I can't do that, it'll be too obvious. Right, I'm gonna go and get some charcoal. Ah, so this is where the other chicken coop is. At least we've got our charcoal now. Right, so take one out of there. Put a bit of charcoal in there.
What's that?
Nothing here but us chickens, dude. Right, so we just need to repeat that for wherever the other chicken coops are. Then, same thing having to do is steal people's rosaries at night. Gotta find out what type of. Try to do the bathwater, that might be easier. Yeah.
Saints from Italy! Altar candles from France!
Yeah. Enough of
And
the
pieces
waffling,
of
dude.
What's the recipe for that potion you were talking about?
You mean for coloring the water? Ah, well,
Well,
pay close attention now.
I'm all ears.
How love turned to bloodshed. Once there was a knight who, though upright and noble-looking, had a prickly, unapproachable appearance. He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field, all wearing bright red wimples. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. So he asked the advice of another knight, a pious and learned crusader, who carried the name of the patron saint of his order with pride. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous with the maid. All three would drink wine together by the river, and he would help his friend to get acquainted with her. This they did, but the maid fell in love instead with the pious knight. The stern knight was enraged and challenged his rival to a duel. The two fought long and fiercely, but they were equally matched. And so, in the end, they both fell mortally wounded, anguished at the tragedy her beauty had caused. The young maid took a dagger from one of the knights and plunged it into her own heart. Their bodies lay together on the ground, and the blood flowed from them into the river, turning the waters crimson.
I thought you were going to tell me the recipe, not some fable.
It is the recipe. I mean, the recipe is concealed in the story.
What on earth for?
So I don't forget it.
All right. So what does it mean?
I can't remember.
Great. So if you don't know, who does?
You'll figure it out, my loyal apprentice. I remember there are 3 plants in the story, but that's about all. But I know it was a simple recipe. It should be enough to grind the ingredients and brew them together for one turn. So, all you have to do is work out what the ingredients are from the story.
Sure. Why make things simple if you can complicate them?
Oh, it's true. By the way, it was a pious night, but you know, let's not nitpick.
Good luck then.
Good luck, he says. So I've got to remember that and figure out what the recipe parts are. Come on, let's go over to Rat Eye and figure out how to make this here potion. This has got to be the most weirdest way to remember a recipe. So, what we've got is our original knight, who is prickly, so that's a thistle. Then you've got the maid, all our sisters in the field, which is a poppy because of the red. And then you've got the pious knight, of course, who, well, St. John's the only one I can come up with. So, got to grind all this lot. And boil it. Right, we need wine first. said they drank wine, so we've got to put wine into the cauldron. Each of these need to be ground. That into the cauldron afterwards. Boil it for a turn. That should be it. Didn't mention anything about distilling, just... Yeah, you just said you had to grind them and boil them for a turn, so that's that one. And St. John's wort. Right, grind that up. Where's the butcher mine now? Now what do you do about the butcher? Because the butcher's got a lot of meat. I wonder if it's just meat that's in the house, maybe. He said we've got to find out what type of meat they've got and then replace it with spoiled meat. You ever buy anything off them? Tons of different types of meat. Anyway, let's get this one finished. See if this works. Right, so boil for 1 turn. Come on. Right, leave it to cool down then. Pile more here. I mean, that does look pretty red, I've got to admit. Aha! Big blood. Man, why can't you just like scribble it down on a sheet of paper? Right, come on, let's get back. We've got work to do. Well, I'm gonna have to do some sneaking around at night to get any more done. Can't get past the bathmaids. I think I'll have to sneak into houses to get the rosaries and find out about that meat. Ah, there's the Charlon. Let's see how we're doing anyway, since we've done the chicken eggs.
So, how am I doing so far?
Well, someone asked me how to deal with a revenant, but no one is worried enough to part with any coin. No one in Ledechko would eat a single egg, even if they had any, because all the hens are hexed.
Well, at least they've got fuel for their fires. That's still not enough, is it?
There's still a long way to go. Take care.
Okay, well, I think we'll wait a while for the sun to go down, then we'll start getting our other things done.
Salt!
Ah, now that's a good start. Someone left a rosary in the chest here in the inn. That's 1 down, 4 to go. I would have thought these blooming bathmaids would have all gone to bed by now, but one being a pain around there. Colour the water. Anyway, hopefully we can dodge her.
That's it.
Sneak back out. Right, so that back. We don't look as suspicious as before. Let's see, so we need to go to... Right, we need 4 more rosaries. We need... Go and check the butchers out. So let's go and do that then, because it's... I mean, it's past 11 o'clock now. Might be able to find out meat they've got, because I don't think it's the stuff that they're selling. I don't think that's it. I've seen stuff on the table. That's not it either, I suspect. I think I'm gonna have to probably go inside the actual house and find out if they've got any fresh meat. The idea is we need to swap it out for rotten meat, apparently. Right, so a bit of a peek around here. Hello. Oh, they've got some chickens here.
Chickens. That should be no problem.
So, if we go and borrow some chickens from other people, let it rot, and then we can come back at a later date, swap that out. Just have a peek inside as well. Because I'm assuming they've got... Oh, there you go. What's that?
Lamb. And I'll need lots of it if I'm to switch it all.
Oh, got some more as well.
Hang on, this is venison. From roe deer. No wonder it's under lock and key.
Not seeing any there. That'll be a bedroom there, I bet. Yeah, I'll leave that. I'll leave her alone. He's had enough grief. Right, so we need to find. So we've done that. We need to find some chickens. Lamb. Lamb's going to be easy enough because there is sheep around the area. I've seen them. Raw deer. Where's the nearest? Where's the nearest hunting area? Down there. We do that in the morning. Or yeah, I think that's going to be easier than up there. Okay. So I need another 4 rosaries though. Right, 4 more rosaries to find. Right, so I need 4 chickens. I think I'll borrow some from here because I don't want to take them all from one place, so I'll probably get them from different places. But come here, chicken. If I could get it. Oh, come on. Right, so that's 1 of the 4 chickens we need. There's 3 places, so no matter what I do, I've got to take 2 from one place at least. Go on, be about your way, there's nobody here. No one here but us chickens. Oh, come on. Right, so that's two of the 4. So I know there was a coop down by the mill, and there's another one, I think, around there, I think it was. But yeah, we'll get 2 more chickens, and then we'll just leave them to spoil. Now it's a case of looking for rosaries as well. Ah, no, that was handy. Very handy indeed. So I'm getting 1 rosary from in that building there, which is just after the grocers. I got 2 from that building there, just opposite, and I got 1 from in there. Definitely handy that, so that's all 5 of them. So, now I just need 2 more chickens.